Hello everybody. For today's video, I was just gonna whisper to you guys and show you, well, a very long compilation of all of my YouTube favorite songs. Now, I'm gonna start off the bat by saying I've mentioned before that I have a very all over the place music taste. Really depends on just whatever mood I'm in at the time. If I'm sad, I'll listen to sad music. If I'm happy, I'll listen to happy music. If just literally all over the place. Maybe I heard a song in a movie, saw it in a TV show, and even though it has nothing to do with anything at a point in my life at the time, I enjoy it. So now this is just my YouTube list over the last 12 to 13 years. I officially made a YouTube account in 2011, which is the account you're seeing here. And I want to say, I know I was on it like a year or two before that, just I didn't make an account yet. So some of these songs that you see from like 13 years ago, like for example, a 4-Year Foreplay by Smosh, I saw that like when it first came out and I really enjoyed so this is my YouTube, and again, this is just the YouTube side of things. I had a Rhapsody account back when that was a thing, which was then bought out by Napster. And then from Napster I went to Apple Music. So that is a much more comprehensive list of like all my songs that I've ever in my entire life enjoyed. This is just the YouTube side of things, so I'll just show you this side of things, and then although the Rhapsody Napster version, it is a little different. This right here is like my all-time favorite songs, like, well, maybe not Boxman 2.0, but when we start getting into like the 2010s, well no, we're already there, like 2015 and onward, those are songs that are like, for me, they're timeless, and I could at any point in time pick up and watch, so, or listen to. My Napster side of things is an accumulation of every song I've ever liked over my entire life. So if you want to see that video, I'll happily make it. There is a little bit of overlap in some of these videos, but they are kind of two different lists. It's hard to try to combine them into one mega list, but without further ado, on the YouTube side of things, the very first video is Box Band 2.0 by Smosh. When it first came out, I enjoyed it. Rap Battles, yeah, Rhett and Link Rap Battles, they had some good songs. I don't even know if they're that channel. I know they're doing Good Mythical Morning, but I don't know if they're doing Rhett and Link videos anymore. Well, 4 Years Foreplay, there's a part midway through, when a girl gives you a smile, don't be deceived, she wants you to father her child. It's like something like that. I really liked that part. The rest of the song was okay. I don't mind some of that like screamo, but it's definitely not my favorite. Smosh TV show, that's not even music, but I don't have the heart to delete it from this list. If you've ever seen that video, they go through like they're a Netflix TV show, and they start off like pretending they're super boring, and then at the end of it they get crazy, and it's honestly a much watch. I haven't seen it probably in 11 years, so I don't know how well it holds up, but that sort of is what it is. The Fred song, I do remember when that first came out, and I actually found it, and kind of still do find it kind of catchy. I know that's probably not an opinion everyone has, but I enjoyed it. I'll move up the list a little bit, and again, this list is starting from when I first started YouTube, like watching videos, up until present day. Theory of a Dead Man, that came out, that was all over the radio stations. That was a good one. Had a Nickelback phase for a little bit. I remember Next Contestant, my cousin from out of town came in, and he had a CD player. So I had a little MP3 player. I don't even know what kind it was. It was like a rectangle with and he came in there with a CD player, which at the time was kind of out of this, like, you know, wow, that's crazy. So much technology. And he had a Nickelback CD, and I don't remember if those two were on the same album or not, but I remember Next Contestant was on that album, and it was a good song. Animal by Neon Trees, I remember when that first came out. I loved it. I'll try not to get too sentimental when I talk about songs. That one just sort of on a level connected with me because, you know, I was growing up. I wasn't popular, but I wasn't like a complete, well, let me put it, well, in elementary school and then like 6th grade I was like one of the total nerds, and then I moved to like a nice middle ground where I had some friends but I wasn't popular, and in high school, you know, high school was actually pretty good for me. But I was never good with the ladies. I was not charming or anything like that. So that song, it was just one of those. I'd listen to it thinking, oh, the very next day I'm gonna go finally talk to that girl that I like or whatever, and it never did. It was a good hype song, but never actually went anywhere with it. Over My Head, oh god, I think that was 8th grade for me. Now, the other thing you're gonna notice is not, so like Over My Head is 13 years ago. I did not hear this song, or well, let me put it this way. If it ended up on this list, where it's placed is the time in my life where I either found it or like it actually became a favorite song of mine. So like the Fray, Over My Head was me in 8th grade, which was like 2010, I want to say. Well, actually, that could line up. Well, the overall point being is this list, which doesn't have dates on it, but this list, when I added them, is the time that I fell in love with the song. So while, like, there's a song that I could have discovered yesterday that came out 10 years ago, so you can look at the years, how many years ago it was, and get a decent idea of where it was. That's not always exactly accurate. Like here, you can see a lot of these videos are 12 years, 13, so they are pretty much on, but like I said, they're not necessarily, that song, it's with 8 seconds left in overtime, She's All on Your Mind, it was the same thing. I had this quirky notion that I was gonna, 8 seconds left in overtime, that like on the last day of 8th grade, as we were all walking out final bell into the summer, I was gonna go, and the girl I liked at the time, I was gonna go up and ask her, like, like the song kinda, it's a long shot, trust me, but, my rationale as an 8th grader was not the best, but, another one of those mopey love songs. Moving in, Secrets from One Republic. I remember this song. How my middle school worked is there was a it was a blue and gold team. And so the problem was, so like blue team, it was 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Blue team did it where you're not exactly the brightest bunch, and then gold team was like the more smarter kids. So I remember 6th grade I was blue team, just because that one really didn't matter because they just sort of, they didn't know, so they just sort of threw you to a color. And I didn't really have a whole lot of friends then, so it didn't matter which team I was on. I was smarter than blue team, so they moved me up to gold team for 7th grade, and that's where I made a lot of friends. And then in 8th grade, I was moved back down to blue team, and all my friends stayed on gold team. And so the thing is, you never shared any classes with them. I don't even believe the lunch schedules lined up, so I never saw my friends an entire year. And so, I mean, I got over it eventually, but, you know, the first half of my 8th grade was kind of depressing, so that song kind of, it was one of those sad songs I listened to. Nothing by the Script, that's another one of those, there's a whole love story going on in my head at the time, and I know if this is probably too personal, but yeah, I share a lot with you guys, and I don't mind. I had a lot of, for any girl that I did like at the time, whether I said like one word to them or actually had conversations with or whatever in middle school, I never acted on any of it. It was always friendly. I never actually made any moves. And I think because in 8th grade, the one time I did, her name was Haley, yeah. I did actually, and I got friend-zoned. So a lot of these like middle school romance songs were about her, and I'm corny. Let me just put it that way. For anyone wondering, I'm a corny person. That was another one of those, just had a whole romance in my head, and when it actually came out on paper and, you know, I told her, it fell apart quick. Beautiful Disaster, I want to say, was that a part of Guitar Hero 3? Oh no, that was a part of Guitar Hero World Tour, I want to say. It was part of one of the Guitar Heroes, but, and the other problem too is, so like you'll notice that one says 6 years ago, and all the other videos are like 14, 13, 12, you know. Sometimes YouTube takes a video down. You'll notice how like the script isn't actually by the script, but it has 29 million views. So sometimes I will favorite a lyric video, and it'll get taken down. So I had to re-add that one later on. Beautiful Disaster, I liked it as a song, and I was one of those kids that had like a whole, like a cinematic universe in my head at the time, going, because school was boring, so I'd always daydream about a whole cinematic universe, and just by listening to that song, I made an entire, essentially, movie. Whatever got me through, you know. But at this point, we enter into, I believe that we're into my freshman year. Were we? I think Pavane for a Dead Princess we played in band, and I think that was 9th grade. Really beautiful song to listen to. Like I said, we go from, forgive me if I get genres wrong, but we go from like a more rock, you know, heavy guitar kind of song to not jazz, more like a classical kind of song. That's just how my life works. I can't explain it, doesn't make sense, but there we are. I think that was ninth grade. Just a beautiful song, a really relaxing, kind of mellow song to listen to. Seven Things by Miley Cyrus. I think that, although to be fair, if a song got taken down, which I think that one did, I might not have added it exactly in the same right spot, so it can't be too critical. The songs are what is important. But I like that song. City of Love by Phineas and Ferb. I remember when that one first came out. Bloodwater. It's just another, like, I really liked the instrumental for it. Well, yeah, I think I got the placement of some of these a little wrong, but the problem is a lot of these, like, older tracks, I try to put them in where I can, but it is what it is. Obviously, once I get to, like, 2015 and onward, all the songs are in their right spots, but in 8th grade, we watched Phantom of the Opera in band class, and I fell in love with pretty much all the songs, not only on a song level, but especially at the time, going over, like, my first rejection and everything, I kind of connected with the Phantom on some level. So we have I Dreamed a Dream from Les Mis. I like Ruthie Henshaw's version better. I thought she had a fantastic vocals. So I like her song. We got some Phantom of the Opera and the sequel Love Never Dies. I like Ben Lewis as well. I heard that, like, and that's the other thing. For a lot of the Phantom of the Opera songs, which I think mainly are on my Rhapsody side of things, but I love Down Once More. And not only that, but I like, there's Gerard Butler, there's, oh man, I don't know if I can remember all of them off the top of my head. Michael, the first one. I pretty much like all the renditions over the years of the different Phantoms singing it, so. And then Falcon and the Dive, and The Riddle, and then Where's the Girl was another one from the Scarlet Pimpernel that I liked. Just had a little bit of a opera-y phase there. Or Miley Cyrus, just Fergie, I liked them. Let's see, Envy, I think this is... Whenever I think, hold on, I'm gonna do a little bit, yeah, okay. So we are into 2014 at this point, and like I said, I have two different accounts, that's why there's such a time jump from 9th grade to my junior year, 11th grade, but, we have Envy, I think it's like a Christian rap song. I liked it. I went to Philmont, which is a scout camp, and I fell in love with a couple of these songs here. Alien AJ, Potential Breakup Song. Again, I did not listen to that 15 years ago. I listened to that then in, like, 2014. Pretty catchy. I like it. I wasn't going through any breakups or anything. I just liked the song. There's like Kiss the Girl and Hercules and a little bit of a Disney phase. Jar of Hearts, that's another classic. You can't go wrong with that song. I like a lot of Eminem, and pretty much all of my Eminem's on the Rhapsody side of things, but that one's Dramacetta. I mean, there's a lot of, like, I want to say, like, 2015 and before Eminem, I really liked a lot of his songs, so this list would be huge if I had all of them on there. Blue Jeans, I thought that was just a beautiful song. I love her vocals. Blank Space, so now we're getting into my senior year, which was 2014. We're just starting off. I loved that song. And again, I had looking back, and again, you don't really realize it while it's going on, but looking back, there's a lot of romances that I definitely could have had my senior year, but I'm stupid and either didn't see it, or sometimes the fear of like change for me gets me. So I don't want to ruin, like, we got a great friendship. I don't want to ruin that. So that was another one of those, like, in my head romance. I didn't want to make it a thing, but I did at the same time. So that's another one of those romancy songs. Sweet Caroline. I think I forget where I heard that at the time, but just another song I liked. Oh man, that was from Good Luck Charlie. I like I said, I was on a Disney kick, and really liked that song. It's not even much of a song, but I liked it. So middle of starting over, I really enjoyed that song, and again, it was supposed to be like this. I was in my last year of high school. Things are going great for me, and maybe I can change things and, you know, get a girlfriend, be better in certain things, finish out the year strong or whatever. And so I'd listen to that song like nightly, pretty much. I'm starting over. We're about halfway through the year, but I'm starting over. I'm going to end the year good. And in some ways, it actually did help me. I did end the year very well. And then in other ways, I wish I did things differently, but some more Eminem. His album Shady XV came out. I liked a couple songs off of that. Bright for Me, Vegas. Those are the two off the top of my head. Like the little Fifth Harmony, you know. I think Vine was still going on back in 2014. I could be wrong. Might get my timetables mixed up, but I think Jessie Smiles was promoting that song on. I think she was promoting it on Vine, and I liked it. More of these, like, so we're getting into like the second half of my senior year. This would be like January of 2015, and there was one particular girl that I did really like, and looking back, a lot of chances we probably could have dated. And it's one of those things, like, I'm a procrastinator, and looking back, you could see why. So it was one of those things like, hey, today's a great day. I did a junior ROTC, and she was in it with me. And we would do a lot of after-school things, whether it's, like, drill team stuff, color teams. We would do football and basketball games after school. So, like, one of the things we did was, like, school would end around, like, 3. We would hang out for, like, an hour or two in the ROTC room, just chatting. Like, anyone who was going to the basketball game would just chat, have a good time. And then we would actually go do the color team, hang out, whatever. And, yeah. It was always one of those, I'm enjoying myself, we're having a great time. I'll actually ask her tomorrow. And then the end of senior year came, and I've never seen her since, I don't think. So, if you're in that position and you don't feel like it could totally... Looking back, whether it went good or bad, I wish I did. Even if she said no, I wish I did at least ask. So a lot of these songs are about her. I liked her pretty much my whole senior year, and really wish I asked her out, but so Just the Girl, you know, Thunder, Check Yes Julie, it's all these, you know, like, I was singing these songs in my head too about her, and I was gonna go ask her tomorrow, and tomorrow never came. I know this sounds really sappy now that I'm like talking it out, but just overall a whole lot of, and the sad thing is there's only like 2 or 3 girls that I liked over the course of like middle and high school. And what I mean by, well, I guess I'm probably sounding like a creeper at this point. What I mean is, like, there was actual chemistry. We were talking, and just never went anywhere. I never asked, so they went with someone else, and you know, nothing ever came of it. I was not the type that just, the girl didn't even know I existed. These were all like, they actually had chances if I spoke up. And that's on me. I still got all these songs later in life to look back and listen to. I strongly doubt anyone's watching this that knows me, but Jesse's Girl, one of my lifelong friends, throughout elementary, middle, and high school, was gonna come out. I liked his sister. Literally, we knew each other since we were like 6 years old. And so one of the things I did was I'd sang, I just replaced Jesse with his name, and then girl with sister. Man, I was a weird kid. You look back and, so I like the song as it is, but I'd always tease him, because I don't think he ever knew if I did or didn't like his sister, so I'd always be like, well, his name's not Bob, but I'm just gonna call him Bob. So I'd always go up to him in class and be like, I wish that I had Bob's sister. It was funny. It was a lot funnier back then and in my head, but more love songs, Never Too Late, yeah. Kind of had that like February cold out depression, so, you know, Don't Let Me Go, Empty, Losing My Religion. I think that was on Guitar Hero World Tour as well. Naruto Shippuden Silhouette. I really liked that intro. That is my favorite Naruto intro, and even when I listen to it to this day, like, it takes me back to like 2015, senior year. Like, for me, it's incredible what that one song can do. My senior year, Five Nights at Freddy's was really popular, and I enjoyed playing it. For junior ROTC, we had a military ball, so Shut Up and Dance was like the really popular song at the time. You couldn't go anywhere without listening to that song, so that's on here. I had a little bit of a, I don't want to butcher genres. She's not really screamo. Like heavy, not really even heavy metal. I don't know what you do. It's Whore and Adrenalize, and then My Darkest Days. It's really good. The title of that one's not up. It's My Corn Star Dancing. Just a little bit of like rock, heavy rock. I don't know what you want to call it. Metal. Maybe it is metal. Had some more just YouTube songs. Just some songs I liked. Nothing really like sentimental or anything about them. During the summer, I met her during the end of my senior year, but my my ex-girlfriend now, but during that summer I hung out with my ex-girlfriend a lot, so a lot of love songs. The One I Love, Can You Feel the Love, I Won't Say I'm in Love, you get the point. Summertime Sadness, it was the summer. We're getting into my favorite songs of 2015 right here, like the summer. I Know You Like It by DJ Snake. She drove me crazy. And it's one of those things, like, looking back now, it was not a good kind of crazy, but she drove me crazy, and that song I really resonated with. Phenomenal by Eminem. I really liked that song. And it was one of those that just ended senior year. You know, I'm gonna conquer the world. I'm phenomenal, you know. Ditto. Had a little bit of Summertime Sadness kind of going on. Nothing More by Jenny. Me and one of my friends went down to Florida, and that was like one of the only songs they kept playing on repeat at the time. But I really liked it. I started off college at this point right here, so I had a little bit of, I've never really left home, so like Coldplay, Fix You, you know, a little bit of that, like, away from home for the first time sadness. Nothing really. Some dubstep. Nothing really. Careless Whisper. Deadpool 1 had just come out. We're now into like 2016 at that point. I think it's like the beginning of 2016. Yeah, Deadpool 1 came out. I fell in love with that song. Wildest Dreams. I feel like that. I guess that's right. I like that song. I Took a Pill in Ibiza. You Couldn't Go Anywhere, summer of 2016 without hearing that song, and I liked it. We have Sucker for Pain by Imagine Dragons. That was another good one. I think, what was it? Suicide Squad just came out. Gold by Kiara was another one. You Couldn't Go Anywhere, summer of 2016 without hearing. And I don't necessarily know if it was a good song looking back, but I just have a lot of memories, you know, doing things that summer, and that song was on, whether it was like swimming by a pool or just going out and about. That song was like one of the ones I heard a lot. Panda. I'll be open with you guys. I don't try to hide anything. I've already made a long, extensive video on my ex and how it didn't work out. And Middle by DJ Snake was like, it's like looking back, we were going through a rough patch, and that is the moment. It was only like a year into the relationship. I feel like my life, and I'm the type of person that thinks everything happened for a reason, but my life would be on such a different trajectory if I broke up with her at 1 year instead of staying with her for 6. And I was taking so, well, I was taking so much, like, abuse is what I meant. And I was listening to a song like that, trying to make it work. You know, I promised to build a new world for us two, and it just, yeah, looking back, that was the moment. Like, if I broke up with her then, my life would be incredibly different than it is now. Like, that's literally the pivotal moment that I wish I didn't. Rise by Katy Perry, another good one. We're getting into like the end of 2016. I went back to college for my sophomore year. I had some Flyleaf. don't want to get too into it because it's a messy, complicated thing, but one of my friends and me had a falling out. I'll put it that way. So, like, great love. There I was awaiting death for you, and all I did was love you too. We went really far together, we did a lot of stuff, and then we just had a big falling out, and a lot of these, like, It's Different, and Helen Tell Me, like, it was about us. And I listened to, like, me and him sort of having a falling away. All Time Low. I always get, like, wintertime. See, I guess it's seasonal depression, but just, it's dark out all the time. Yeah, I mean, pretty much, yeah, just it's dark out and cold, so I don't want to go out, I don't want to do things, so, you know, seasonal depression. Black Beatles was another song you couldn't go anywhere without. Yeah, we go from, again, I'm all over the place, we go from, I have the Fairly Odd Parents, it's like a dubstep version. Lord Liability, we're now into the beginning of 2017 for me. Another one just coming out of, like, that seasonal depression. It's starting to become summer, but we're not there yet. Like, I love summer and fall, but then, like January through, like, April is just for me. You Don't Own Me. It's funny, you listen to a song, like, again, like, I can laugh about it now, and me and you can. If I'm listening to a song called You Don't Own Me, and I am relating to it personally, you'd think I would have picked up on some clues, but never did. Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen, and Stairway to Heaven. Got into a little bit of, like, an oldies kind of kick. We're now into summer of 2017. I'm trying to remember if Little Dicky went to Firefly or not that year, but I got into a Little Dicky kick. Nothing really. I even like Sophia the First. I mean, that's another song you wouldn't expect a man to like, but I do. 115. This is 2017 summer, so Black Ops 3, which is one of my all-time favorite Call of Duties, came out with Zombie Chronicles, and if you know anything about that song, it is on the original Kino der Toten, which they did bring back for this one. And while I did play the original Kino, I don't think I ever actually got the song to play. So, like, back then. So, I think that was the first time I actually did the Easter egg to make the song, and I felt, oh, it's such a good song. Why by Sabrina Carpenter. Tell me how we're not alike, but we work so well, and we don't even know why. It's funny. It's funny looking back at failed relationships and the songs I was listening to. It Ain't Me, that's another one. Is it gonna walk? Yeah, that's another one. For the Damaged Coda, that's another one. I think the Evil Morty episode on Rick and Morty came out, and they played that song, and I loved it. I thought it's very mellow. I don't remember if this is the first. I think this is I started binge watching Grey's Anatomy with my ex, and I think that's where all three of these songs come in. They're good songs, I like them. Somewhere Only We You Know, that's a really good one that I like. A couple Christian songs. I really like Oceans. trying to see if there's anything that like really stands out. I think this was 2018. Oh man, was it? Hold on. Can I don't want to mess up my spot. Go on my computer here. Give me 30 seconds. Because I think I can... Oh, I can. Okay. Let me mute it. I'm trying to think. I think this was like 2018. I'll try to talk and think. I think this was like 2018 when there was a lot of like YouTube drama. Let me see, because I know Champion by Jake Paul came out. Yes, August of 2018. So this was like summer of 2018, alright. If I can back out. I don't know, I think that a lot of people agree that that's like peak YouTube. And in some ways I agree. Just the whole... If you know, like, Jake Paul, Team 10, KSI... Yeah, like Alyssa Violet and FaZe Banks, yeah. And it seemed like every day there was another diss track or another video or another whatever. Then there was the KSI Logan Paul boxing match. It was like every day was like another major development. It was a good time. The Jake Paul Champion song I actually enjoy, and actually every song, all these YouTube songs you see here, I actually like on some level. I know that's, well, they all seem to have good views, but I actually like these songs as, not only as a part of, like, the beef, but at the same, like, as a standalone song, I enjoy them. Machine Gun Kelly, Eminem disses were going on, I like both, I honestly like both of them. My Way, so I think we're in like summer of 2018. I was working a food service job at a hospital, and like Lovely and My Way, but like it was one of those, oh, I hope someday I'll make it out of here. You know, didn't want to be there, but had to for money, and it was one of those, like, I listened to it daily, like, I've done things my way, maybe I'll get out of working this job one day. So, Ghost of You by My Chemical Romance, loved that song. Like I said, we're in like the summer of 2018 now, and again, you can't hate me, but looking back, it was those 6 years I was with that girl. They were doomed, they were failed. And so the song starts with, I never said I'd lie and wait forever. And then it said something like along the lines of like, could I, should I? Like, it was, I'm not a cheater, and I never would, but it was always one of those, what if? So I've been in a failed relationship that in some ways I didn't want it to let it go, but in others it was, she wouldn't let me go, and that girl, yeah, I'll say her name, who cares at this point. Her name was Paige, my freshman year, or my senior year of high school. And I wondered, it was one of those, like, I wondered what would happen if I did say yes. If I did ask her out, and she said, and I didn't, I had a lot of opportunities to, and I can almost guarantee you at the time she would have said yes. Just how often we were hanging out, like, after school and everything. And so here we are, I'm like, this is 2018, so I'm 3 years into a horrible relationship. And I was wondering, like, I'm like, hey, I mean, what would have happened? I know I can't go back now, but, like, I wonder what could have been. You just say that you're the good guy. But this ain't what love looks like. That's Eminem's Good Guy. It's just, oh man. You look back and it's pitiful. Sicko Mode by Travis Scott, that was another song you couldn't escape. If I'm not all you need, then just set me free. I'm down on my knees. If you're not the one for me, then just let me be. I'm begging you, please. Just even the thumbnail from BB Rex's Knees. You can understand, like, where I was at that time. Like, there's several points where I wish I could have left. I even tried at one point, and just because she lived with me, I literally couldn't leave her, even when I tried. And it was one of those, I wish she did just set me free. Because here we are. This is like 2018 when the song came out, I want to say. When I was liking this song, so we're already like 3-4 years into it. And, like East of Eden, that's just another one. There's some of these songs like East of Eden, like there's a TikToker that I saw using it, and oh man, what was her name? I don't even remember. She made a video on it, and I was like, wow, that's actually a good, like, standalone song. Post Malone, Sunflower, you couldn't go anywhere without that. Listening to that one. Without Me by Halsey, that's another one that was really good. I'm So Over You. Yeah. Laylee Pons, she's one of the ones I used to watch on Vine, so Vine had been done at this point, but she came out with this song, and I actually like it. Sister Location, FNAF just came out, and I like that song as a standalone. Prom Queen, if you know anything, I think it was Shane Dawson. I think he did like one of his collabs with Jeffree Star, and he played that song, and I actually really enjoyed it. We're into 2019 now because it's been a long time. Was at the end of Avengers Endgame, and again, you can see how we go from like a Valentino, which is like an uppity rap song. We go from like Prom Queen, which is like a sad, like acoustic kind of song, and then we go to a World War II love song. But I think some of it was, I like the song as a standalone, and then another part of it was just this, back when I still had hope. Another part of it was just like, I don't know, some way, shape, or form and again, I was in a toxic, failing relationship at the time, so don't judge me too hard, but another part of it was like the what ifs with the page, and maybe even though it had been 4 years since I graduated high school, maybe I would stumble upon her and my life could get better. So it's been a long time since I've seen her. Yeah, this is not the video I thought it would be, but I'm putting way too much out there, I guess. Say So by Doja Cat, just a good song overall. You'll notice Our Truth by Lacana Coil, Heavy Metal Lady. I played Guitar Hero 3 when it very first came out. I think it was my 5th grade birthday party. I got Guitar Hero 3 for the PlayStation 2. And me and my brother, I think it was called Game Time Buddies. we bought the game. We bought the new guitars that worked. I think they worked for the Wii, and we started playing Guitar Hero 3 again, just for laughs, and it was fun. Nothing too crazy here. Just some songs I liked. We're starting to get into I don't remember if we broke up yet or not, but Save Myself, you know, I could have saved myself time and lots of money. I could have saved myself from you. I could have saved myself from wasting half my 20s. I feel like we literally went through the same exact thing, so I really connected with that song. Miss the Rage by Mario Judah, his version. I think that's a near perfect song. Cut My Hair, that's another, like, sad song. Yeah, we had broken up by this point. I think that's, yeah, we had broken up by this point. So, you know, sad songs. I didn't really know, because at that point over the last 6 years, I lost myself, like, who I was, and I didn't know who I was anymore. So, a lot of these songs are kind of sad. Obviously, there's Tentacion song sad, but a lot of sad songs I was listening to, just, I didn't know who I was, and it was a rough 2020. In 2021, we broke up at like the beginning of the year. King for a Day by Pierce the Veil. That's one of those songs like I heard in like middle school, but like I just, at this point in time in my life is when I like really connected and really liked the song. Sports by Beach Bunny. You know, if you feel lonely, I could be lonely with you. You know, just The Walls Are Way Too Thin. That was another like breakup song. Oh my god. Cigarette. So I saw Cage the Elephant at Firefly. I think they were 2020. Yeah, they were 2021. They were last year. And oh my god, I still to this day, like, Cigarette Daydream is like one of my, I definitely, there's no possible way, because of all the different points in my life and the different genres that I like, that I could ever say, like, here's my definitive #1 favorite song. Like, I could only listen to one song forever, this would be it. But Cigarette Daydreams is like, oh my gosh, it's up there. It so perfectly describes me and just everything. Without messing up the video. See if I can. Did you stand there all alone? Oh, I cannot explain what's going down. I can see you standing next to me. In and out somewhere else right now. Like, the night before we broke up, I could tell it was over that night, and I finally, everything was like perfectly, I've explained this, I'll go into a minor details here, about why this is like one of my all-time favorite songs. She moved out, like, she was living with me, so literally it was impossible for us to break up, because anytime I did, there was one time I tried, and she still lives with me. We, like, it fell apart. Like, the one time I did try to break up, we couldn't, because we lived together. It just fell right back together. So she had moved out a couple months beforehand, and so everything was finally, like, in place. We had been separating, no matter how much she tried to cling to me. Like, I was starting to, now that she had left, I was starting to realize now that she's not there to like feed me her version of things and her truth, I could start seeing things for myself and start seeing things clearly, and I could see like how bad it really was. So like that night before we broke up, when like we realistically did, but I just didn't actually tell her yet. You sigh, look away, I can see it clear as day. Like, I mean, that just so describes, like, we were done, and some, you know, in and out somewhere else right now, like, no words were said, but we knew it was over, and I was finally in a place where we could separate, because she no longer lived with me. Funny how it seems like yesterday. As I recall, you were looking out of place, gathered up your things and slipped away. No time at all, I followed you into the hall. And there were several times throughout the relationship where that was her way of trying to hurt me. She would pack up all her stuff, call her dad or call someone to pick her up, and then I didn't know if we were over with or not. And this was like very early on in the relationship, and signs that it was kind of doomed to fail. Yeah, as I recall, you were looking out of place, gathered up your things and slipped away. She did that a lot. And then she'd come crawling back that night just to get back at me. And I took her back every time. And then cigarette, daydream, you were only 17. I just replaced 17 with 18 when I met her. Like 18-year-old me had such hopes, such high ambitions in life, and you know, I was an Eagle Scout. I was the corps commander for the ROTC unit. I really was, my senior year, like on top of the world. I'd go into college the next year, and she took it all away from me. She took college away from me. I couldn't. Anytime I tried to focus on school or anything like that, she just... You might look at it and say, oh, well, you're overreacting, it was your choice, and when you live with someone like that, it was not my choice. I had to give 24/7 to her. Literally, I remember one night I was watching a YouTube video on some, like, anatomy for my anatomy quiz, like, the next day, and she blew up at me and got mad at me. Oh my gosh, am I really that boring that you have to watch a YouTube video on anatomy? She turned everything out against me, and on... So, I failed out of college because of her. Tomorrow's the first time I'm going to as an alumni of ROTC, or Welcome Back to things, tomorrow's the first time I'm going to an event in 5 years just to say hi to people. Because she's no longer there. She told me, hey, you can't go to scouting things, you can't go back to ROTC. She took me all to herself. So when I say, like, you were only 17, I think I just replaced 18 there, but I really was. I was 18, had the world in front of me, and she just took it all. So, I really connect with that song. That's just sort of where I'm at. That was like the end of last year for Firefly, is where we're at here. Wasted, the Nightcore version by Juice WRLD, I really like that song. On the way back from work last year, like, I would listen to that like every night. There's some old, like, After Dark by Mr. Kitty, you know, KSLV Disaster. Like, those were just good. You get done work. I worked 12-hour shifts, 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. So, you know, 7:30 at night, or even 8 o'clock at night if it was a long day. It was a good, like, cruising around, heading home song. Free bird. I was a free bird at that point in my life. And even though we broke up early in 2021, here we are. This is now the end of 2021, and I'm just now realizing I'm free. Like, she had such a grip over those 6 years that I'm, like, at this point in time, like, I'm realizing I'm actually free. So that song, and this bird you cannot cage. I realized I'm finally free. We'll Meet Again was just, I think that was at the end of the Call of Duty Vanguard. It was at the end of one of the cutscenes. I like it as a song. And now that I'm free, maybe one day I will meet some friends again that I haven't seen in 6-7 years. Never Forget You. That's one of those. I want to remember the good times I had, and if you take out all the bad, there was good. It's just the bad really outweighed the good, but I want to remember it's one of those, I want to remember the good times we had, and try to forget the bad. Had a little Nightcore phase here. This was, I like the sped up version. Some songs I like sped up, and then others I like slowed. Hold on, give me 30 seconds to get there. Yeah, Prima Donna by Marina. I like it sped up, and it was like a TikTok trend at the time. You know, all the things she said. Nightcore, that's another one. The Space Song. Oh man, what was the? Give me 30 seconds. It was late at night. You held on tight. Yes, that was literally that night that we had that, like, we didn't even say a word. We just knew it was over. She did. She grabbed my arm and held on tight, and like we knew it was finally over. It Will Take a While to Make You Smile. I think that's kind of me. It's just another. It was just another sad song I listened to that kind of just, you know, all the things she said. I liked both the original version and the Nightcore version. We're now into 2022. This, Prima Donna is like the beginning of 2022. The Living Tombstone FNAF 2 song, you know, they say, like, stuck in my own paradox, I want to set myself free. Just, again, learning who I am, and just sort of, I feel stuck in life, and that song kind of resonated. Some songs I liked. Me and my brother played Doom. I really liked Sign of Evil as a song. I Don't Love You by My Chemical Romance. Another one of those, like, I don't love you like I did yesterday. You know. Just songs I liked. This was about, I think, like May or like June of 2022 this year. Beach Bunny Slowed I liked. Prom Dress. Well, we're pretty much at present day, so I have no excuses anymore, but Foo Fighters, it starts off, you know, hello, I've waited here for you ever long. It's one of those, now that I realize that I am free, even now, there's it's not necessarily but friendships, relationships, there's so many people that it's been 7 years since I graduated high school, and 7 years that I haven't seen a whole lot of people. This Halloween was the first time I actually met a couple people that I haven't seen since high school, and it was so refreshing. Part of me just, I wish it's that I could just bump into someone, and I believe in fate on some level, so I feel like if I'm the one who goes out and searches, it's not right. So I always feel like I'm just gonna bump into someone, and whether it be a friend, a girl from my past, whatever, and just say like, hey, it's been 7 years, but I've waited here for you. I don't know, I'm corny. I know I'm corny. We played Doom 2 at that point, so I have him on my... Sean's Got the Shotgun as the song. I don't know, just good songs. A little bit of a rap, Ric Flair drip. I really like that song. Cyclone by Sticky, that's like an alternative kind of thing. I liked it. My Chemical Romance came out with Foundations of Decay. I like them. It's a good song. You'll also, if you've stuck around this long, you've noticed that like songs like Welcome to the Black Parade aren't on this list, and that's because there's like, it's a song I like that song, and you'll notice a lot of songs like that I do like, but there's just like no definitive place I can put a song like that in my, like, this is a concise timeline. I can go literally from like 2011 when I made my YouTube account to present day, and I can tell you like these are all the 2022 songs you're seeing right now, and I can't place that on a timeline, like that song on a timeline, and then there's other songs like it. So that's just sort of why you don't see them on this list. Cough Syrup, Young the Giant, another Just For Me, another one of those. I think this was like around May. Yeah, it's starting to warm up, so ending that sort of seasonal depression that I get. But like, I'm waiting for this cough syrup to come down. Like, I'm just waiting on life to really begin now that I'm free. And I'm trying, I am, but it's definitely not easy. Don't You Worry by Black Eyed Peas, good song. Tech It, I really like that. That's a really good song. I'm trying to remember the lyrics off the top of my head. Where did you learn what it means to reciprocate? I never got anything reciprocated. So long, nice to know you, I'll be moving on. Yeah. I found the band Citizen, so those are two songs I really like. Falling in Reverse, that's another band that, like, I know it's 2022 that we're on the timeline, but I've always listened to that songs, and I think Just Like You, and another one you'll see here in a minute. I've always listened to them, but they've been like passing. So like 2022 is when I actually played the song on repeat and like really enjoyed it. Another Nightcore phase over the summer. Pierce the Veil's Bulletproof Love, mainly on the line, my love for you is bulletproof, but you're the one who shot me. That just speaks for itself. Mars Argo, she's one of those that I heard of back in the day, and I even listened to this song. Totally forgot about her, and then, like 2022, recently, over the summer, I found her again. I'm like I instantly like remembered this song, and so there it is. Below the Surface Sped Up, I really like that one. More Falling in Reverse, Downfall of Us All. Again, these are songs like I listen to, but yeah, they just never ended up on like a playlist of mine until in 2022. Memories by Conan Gray. I wish that you would stay in my memories, you know. I literally felt Girl in Red, We Fell in Love in October. I literally listened to that in October, but just a good song. Yacht Club. I like it as a song, but then it's got the line, it's not like you ever tried to stay, you know. I'm corny, I know. This list is like, it's really like a personal, like it's just songs you'd think, but it's really a personal like list. Another Love, that's one of those like, I still debate about it even to this day. Like, do I want to love, and I want to experience true love, not a one-sided thing. But really, I feel like all my tears have been used up on Another Love. It's like, it's heartbreaking. Take Back This Wonderful Life. I'm Low on Gas and You Need a Jacket. That's a song I've never heard of, by Pierce the Veil. And their song Emergency Contact just came out, and I liked it. I really like this song. This one's definitely up there on my list. I'm Low on Gas and You Need a Jacket. Try to wash you down with something strong. I don't know. Keeping happiness and torture me while I... Oh yeah. Try not to actually sing because, you know, that's kind of not very ASMR-y. I don't know. It's just another one of those like sad songs. I don't know. I connect with it. I feel on like a breakup song kind of level. And then the most recent one, which I just recently discovered, was Genesis by Grimes. I heard it on TikTok, and it's actually a really good song. And then Rob Zombie, Dragula. That's another one. Just heard of like a week ago. So, with that said, I have shown you, now again, this is my YouTube side of things. This is not my, I know my Rhapsody side of things actually shows you, I have like all my old songs from literally like 05 when I started listening to music till now. So it's a much more comprehensive list. This is definitely more meaningful songs to me. And this list right here is actually, like I said, it's a very personal list. Some people look at it and say, oh, it's just a bunch of songs, but you can see where I was at in my life, and it's a lot of personal songs. I don't show this playlist to anybody. You guys are the first to ever see it. So, if you enjoy it, like I said, I can happily show you my Rhapsody playlist if you care. I know this got way too personal, but I think these songs, they are very personal to me. I know media can be. So just personal songs overall in general. And I hope you enjoyed my ramble. This went on for quite some time, but like I said, I hope you enjoy, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Hey everybody. I believe, I guess it depends on sort of how long this takes, but I think what I'm going to end up doing is just putting this at the end of my YouTube favorite songs list. I guess it really depends on how long it takes. So, I haven't really updated this one in a while, and to be honest, I don't really go on here very often, and strictly because there's several songs that I like either sped up, slowed down, like that sort of thing, and YouTube has all of that. Now, I only like a few songs sped or slowed, but I mean, you can pretty much search any song out there, and there's a sped up and slowed down and the original on YouTube. Like I said, I originally started off with a Rhapsody. Well, I originally started off with an MP3 player, went to Rhapsody for the iPod Touch. That got bought out and became Napster, and then I forget why, I think of the family plan or whatever, we went to Apple Music. So they don't have they have some of them, like Atlantis, extra sped up. Some of them they do, but when it comes to those kinds of songs, I don't get the version I want. So typically I just watch YouTube for music, but I still have this list. This list, now it stops at The Drug In Me Is You, which I was mainly listening to over the summer. But this list, excluding the summer on to now, is every song that I have ever liked in my entire life. As you can see, that's 425 songs. So, I think we're just going to, I don't believe, this should all be the same from YouTube. Yeah, I believe this is all the same. I'm just trying to like kind of slowly go through it, make sure. Of course, it's midnight, and it never fails that I'd get a notification while I'm trying to do this at midnight. I'm pretty sure all this is the same. Where it'll start getting different. I do have... Okay, so that is different. I forgot about that. I added it. So, in 2016, you couldn't go anywhere without hearing Stressed Out or Ride by 21 Pilots. I absolutely love those songs back then, and I have... For me, when it comes to music, a lot of it is the song itself is good, but then a lot of it is also like the year, the time, just sort of where I was at in life and what was going on also contributes to that. So I have great memories of just getting out of high school, riding around the summer of 2016, just summer riding around and listening to these songs on the radio. So, at the time, I didn't add them to my favorites list, but, and again, pretty much all these songs are like my absolute favorite songs, but looking back, that was one of the few exceptions I made. Typically, I don't go back and like add songs, but to this list, but those two were, I love them, and I think, yeah, just sort of takes me back to 2016, just driving around on a nice summer day. So I did add those two after the fact. This should all be pretty much the same. So we're at 2015 here. One of the things YouTube I don't have is like Eminem. I like a lot of his songs, and you will see that. You know, angsty middle schooler me. But certain, like Kings Never Die, I really liked that song. I listened to it, but it was not on the YouTube. We are in my senior year of high school now. I believe all this is okay. Yeah, so like the Bad Meets Evil album that came out in like I want to say fall of 2014. So those are my favorite songs from that. Oh man, yeah, some of these songs. Yeah, beginning of like September, October of 2014. You couldn't go anywhere without hearing Lifestyle and Coco. Like those were. I have oh my gosh, Lifestyle, like any football game or basketball game during, like in high school, had Lifestyle playing on it. I think we're starting to get into the realm of where things start to differ. And again, this has a lot of my older songs that YouTube doesn't, because at the time, when I had an iPod Touch, I didn't have Wi-Fi. That wasn't a cell phone. It was just an MP3 player, basically. So like on the bus rides and everything like that to school, I couldn't access YouTube because there was no cellular for an iPod Touch or anything like that. So I would just download them to the iPod. So I literally couldn't, or it didn't make sense for me to have them on YouTube. Whereas now I can, in the car driving, I can just look up a song and different times. We're into summer of 2014. I'm going to try my best to remember, but I make no promises. Potential Breakup Song by Ally and AJ, that's a bop. Blue Jeans, bop. Fancy and Problem, and you can go anywhere without listening to those. And again, the same thing with YouTube. I did have to transfer this from Rhapsody to Apple Music, so some of this is not in the exact order, forgive me. I really do. I try to keep it as accurate as possible. So again, I can sit here and look at this random list and say, oh, I was listening to that song in 2014 or whatever, but it's not perfect. But I do try to keep it as good as possible. Marshall Mathers LP2, mainly listened to that in 2013 when it came out. Some Eminem stuff. We're into 2013. Fun fact, I like a lot of opera, musicals, that sort of thing. One of my friends told me about The Scarlet Pimpernel, and those are the 3 songs I really liked. I still, yet to this day, I listened to a couple tracks, and he kind of told me the gist of things. I still, to this day, have never actually seen it. I feel like it's one of those ongoing jokes at this point. Or, like, that's almost a decade ago that I first heard these songs, and I'm just now potentially gonna see it. I don't know. Dark Horse by Katy Perry, you couldn't go anywhere without hearing but that one. Sweater Weather by The Neighborhood, that's timeless. Teen Beach Movie, Fallen for You. I actually like that as a song. that's one of those, like, you even take it out of a Disney movie, and I like it as a standalone song. Turned Down for What? Couldn't go anywhere without hearing that. Titanium. Some of these you really couldn't go anywhere without hearing them in the car ride, so I naturally just fell in love with them. A lot of Disturbed. I like them. They're always a good you want to get wild kind of songs, I guess. Some more opera. Oh yeah, well, I pretty much like every song from the 2004 Phantom of the Opera. My favorites, though, to be completely honest, the Phantom of the Opera, the top one, Music of the Night, All I Ask of You, the Reprise, Point of No Return, and Down Once More. Those are like, I could listen to those all day. Skrillex, I mean, that was, I think everybody had a dubstep era. Oh man, we're getting back. Not Another UKF Dubstep Tutorial, Dubstep 2011. Oh my gosh. Yeah, definitely and Panther, those were like heavy dubstep songs, but a little bit of a Guitar Hero songs, Pull Me Under, Waking the Demon, Through the Fire and Flames. I mainly played Guitar Hero 3 and Guitar Hero World Tour. Skyfall from the movie. I think we're getting into all the I want to say it was 2009. When was I? No. 2010. Oh, I'm kind of old. I don't feel like it, but I kind of am. 30 seconds to do some math here. Okay, so okay, yeah. So that way it would be 2010. I was an 8th grader. 2010 into 2011, I was an 8th grader, and oh man, I don't even want to think about that. I listened to a lot of Eminem back then. I still like a lot of his older songs, but you'll see. I'll just kind of go through, I guess, my favorites that, like, even to this day, I feel like who wasn't an angsty teen, like, listening to Eminem. But my favorites, like still to this day, honestly, my favorite from this album was Buffalo Bill, believe it or not. And Music Box were pretty good for that album. Spacebound, Going Through Changes were my favorites. When the Music Stops, that's a classic. I love that one, actually. Lose Yourself, obviously. I mean, and if I'm being completely honest, I know I said, maybe I will. Maybe, you know what? I've never sat down and actually tackled my all-time favorite song. Oh man, that's a tough one. Just there's different moods, and maybe I'll make another video and actually sit down and challenge myself, because ultimately, I mean, there's different moods I'm in, there's different periods of my life, and again, it's not even just the song, it's like, where was I, what was I doing when that song came out? But Lose Yourself by Eminem, that's probably up pretty, like, top 5 for me. Rabbit Runs is also another really good one. Above the Law, Bad Meets Evil. I think that was 2010. I'd listen to that a lot. Some more. The Lonely Island. Oh my god, I think that was like 09, 2010, something like that. You couldn't go anywhere without like hearing them. And fun fact, I don't know if anyone remembers or not, Like a Boss, I don't even think it was popular. There's a YouTube YTP called Like a Sauce. And as a kid, I died. Oh my gosh, that was hysterical. Starstruck by Lady Gaga, I actually really like that one. Oh my god, Youth of the Nation, we had to listen to that in middle school. And I actually, I liked it. Man, we're getting back into it. I could be totally wrong. I think we're in like 2009 right now. Yeah, oh man, I don't know off the top of my head. My buddy, I don't even know what technically cousin, I mentioned it earlier in the video, that when I had an MP3 player, he got the CD player before me. This was the point, because he had this Nickelback album right here. Okay, so Firework, that was one of those songs that, like, for me, I'm trying not to get too deep. Firework was one of those songs by Katy Perry, that really, if you listen to the lyrics, like, I felt like a plastic bag drifting through the wind, wanting to start again, you know? I'm not trying to be too sappy here, but like middle school me, man, it carried me through middle school a little bit. I Need a Doctor, that's Say Goodbye to Hollywood, I really liked that one. These Eminem songs I actually know where they placed in my timeline. I Like It by Enrique Iglesias, that's a really good one. Owl City Fireflies, you couldn't go anywhere. Over My Head by The Fray, oh my gosh, yeah. Animal by Neon Trees, for me that's a classic. Don't Stop Believin', oh man, yep. For the 2010, I've mentioned before I'm an Eagle Scout. For the 2010 National Scout Jamboree, I just was old enough to go, as a Boy Scout. And I doubt anybody been here, but if you went there, that song was played so much, it wasn't even funny. So obviously I fell in love with it, and you know, learned all the lyrics while we were there, and yeah, that was funny. We are getting into, so after Magic, we are getting into, this on up is from the MP3 player, which would be like, we're taking it back, let me just put it that way. Enter Sandman by Metallica. Oh man, what year did even the year 3000 come out? Avril Lavigne. I did finally get to see her at Firefly this year. She was actually really good. And I think this is like 2006 onward to like 2010 is when I had the MP3 player. I Don't Want to Be in Love. I listen to that song so much by Good Charlotte. And yeah, the oldest song I can possibly remember listening to and liking was Yeah by Usher. That That's honestly like, yeah, 2006, I want to say. So I don't know how this thing's recording time. So I guess I will leave it there. I'll probably just make a video anyway, just to kind of challenge myself. But if you want to see me try to tackle my all-time favorite songs, I will greatly condense this list. Oh man, I don't even know if that's possible. Maybe I'll make like categories or something for it. I don't know. But if you want to see me attempt that, let me know in the comments below. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a little, I opened up about some things, and I don't know, again, music is very personal to me, so. But if you liked the video, let me know, and I guess I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. Hello everybody. For today's video, I'm probably going to be doing this one separately from... I'm filming them all around the same time, but I'll probably do a video showing you like all of my songs that I've ever liked over my entire life. And this video, I'm going to try, and I have no earthly idea how long this will be, but I'm going to try and narrow this down as much as humanly possible. Why am I doing this? I don't know. I've always been the type of person that sits there and says, hey, I like a lot of different foods, I like a lot of different music, I like a lot of different movies, a lot of different video games. I've never been the type to sit there for any category and sit there and say, yeah, these are my top 10 or my top 5, yet alone top 1. So I am going to attempt, a keyword attempt here, I don't know where this video is going to go, but I'm going to attempt to try to find at the least top 10, but we'll see. I've currently narrowed down probably some of the most important songs of my entire life. And again, if you didn't see the other video, you don't have to. That's just sort of me running them down. This I have taken and picked out, like, those are my favorite songs. This is my really favorite songs. And even then, I'm going to try to narrow this down. So I've picked the 71 songs over my entire life that are some of my absolute favorites. And I guess we will get into it. I'll just kind of run them down real quick. Again, you don't have to see the other video. Also, fair warning, if you didn't see the other video, for me, music, yes, there's the music aspect of it that I do like, the song itself, but then there's like sort of the time and place I was at in my life when I was listening to it. Do I really like, do I relate with the song? Like, does the lyrics speak to me? So I'll give a rundown of all these songs relatively quick, and it might get a little personal, but again, music's very personal to me. That's why I've actually never even shared these playlists with anybody I know. And again, we're going to start off this by Good Charlotte, I Don't Want to Be in Love. This was like 2007, 2008 when I listened to this, something around there. And we're going to work up to present day. I Don't Want to Be in Love. That's just an old banger from my past. Nothing crazy about it. Like elementary and middle school me might have been in love with somebody. I don't remember, but It's a good song. Coming in next, we have Enter Sandman. I listened to that all at middle school. It's just, I think that's one of those timeless. And again, for me, pretty much all of these songs are, in my opinion, timeless. At least for me, I can pick up any of these songs at any point in my life, and that's pretty much my entire favorites list that I went over, but this is really, like, I could pick up any of these songs and listen to them to this day, and they do not get old to me. Down with the Sickness by Disturbed. That's another just classic, like, rock, metal, whatever you want to call it. Don't Stop Believin'. For the 2010 National Scout Jamboree that I went to, you couldn't go anywhere without hearing that song, so that's just 2010 for me, like summer of 2010. It's Animal Trees, or Neon Trees, Animal. It's one of those, like, I had middle school crushes, and, you know, I was always, I'm not, what was it, I won't sleep tonight. I feel like, I was gonna stay up all night. I had this thing where, like, yeah, I was gonna stay up all night trying to figure out what to say, how to say it, and it never came. Over My Head, that's another middle school love song sort of thing for me. Till I Collapse, that's one of my all-time favorite Eminem songs. It's just really good. Bring Me to Life by Evanescence, that's another just really good one. Above the Law, it's another Eminem, it's really good. Lose Yourself, Spacebound, these are some just my all-time top. I really narrowed it down. Spacebound's another, like, middle school lovey song for me. Lord, Royals, honestly, it's one of those that takes me back to, I think it was 2013. It takes me back to a much simpler time. Pavane for a Dead Princess, I do like a little bit of classical, and we played that in my, it was either 8th or 9th grade band, and I actually just really like it. It's a very mellow song. Not Another UKF Dubstep Tutorial. That's probably one of my all-time favorite dubstep songs. That one's back in 2011. I narrowed it down. My favorite Phantom of the Opera song, as many of you know I am a fan, is the ending, Down Once More. I won't try to rehash what I said in the prior video too much, but if you didn't see it, I saw it in 2010 for my 8th grade band class. I saw the film, and I really, hopeless romantic me, middle school me, I really connected with the Phantom. So at the very end, when, you know, the whole, and still to this day, the whole girl walks away from you. I'm not trying to sound too weird, but the whole girl leaves you for someone else. It resonates with me. Inside the Fire and Stricken by Disturbed, both really good songs. Chasing Cars, that's another one that takes me back to, like, 2013. Much simpler times. I Love It by Icona Pop. That's just, I think that was like 2013 summer. Eyes Without a Face by Billy Idol. That's just a good song. I really like that one overall. Yeah, but we're in 2013 right now. Falling For Ya. It's part of Teen Beach Movie, but just even as a standalone song, I really like it. Sweater Weather, I mean, that doesn't need any introduction. The Riddle, that's my favorite Scarlet Pimpernel song. We're in 2014 now. Potential Breakup Song by Ali and AJ. That's just a bop. I Don't Want to Miss a Thing by Aerosmith. It was one of those, there was I'll say it now because honestly, who cares at this point. There was a girl I liked my senior year of high school. Her name was Paige, and I don't know. I'm trying to sound too weird or anything, but we both did junior ROTC together, and in the beginning of the year, we hung out a lot. We talked a lot. Hung out after school, and it's one of those things where I never asked a girl out before, and I've always had like bad anxiety about it. So it's one of those things for me where I would rather, obviously that's going to cause a huge panic attack. So I would rather just be friends, hang out, have a good laugh, and just tell myself, oh, I'll ask her out tomorrow, just to sort of get through the day. But then the next day comes, and oh, I'll ask her out tomorrow to get through the day. And I pretty much said that the entirety of my senior year, every single day, and tomorrow never came for me. I ended up graduating, and yeah. So around this time, I actually had a chance with her, and I blew it. So I don't want to miss a thing. It was one of those. I went to like every after school activity with her, and like just really wanted to hang out with her. Blank Space. That's just that's a bop. Middle of Starting Over by Sabrina Carpenter. That one, again, was like this about midway through senior year. For me, I kept telling myself, oh, I'm going to start over, I'm going to ask her out, I'm going to finish out the year strong, and in some ways I started over, but not really. There's that one, Just the Girl by the Click 5. That's timeless for me. Oh my gosh, I listened to that when I was really, really young. Well, God, when did that come out? I don't even know. Style by Taylor Swift. That's a classic. In This Moment, Whore. That's a good, just like really like heavy rock, metal. I can't get my genres right. Don't judge. My friend's more into like screamo and like heavy metal and stuff like that. And this is like the one song I actually was like, it's actually kind of a bop. Lyrics aside, it's a bop by itself. We're now into the summer of 2015. Just graduated high school. Ditto Thank You. Had a little bit of that, summer depression. Like, hey, just graduated high school. Probably never see some of my friends again. And I was right, because still to this day I haven't seen a lot of them. I Know You Like It. My ex-girlfriend, she drove me crazy. I Know You Like It, but it drives you insane. Yeah. Really, really connected with that one. That's one of the, we'd only been dating a few months, and I saw some writing on the wall and ignored it. Jenny by Nothing More. This song takes me back. Me and my friend went down to Florida in summer of 2015, and I think the song just came out at the time. And we were whatever radio station we were listening to, it was like the top 20 songs at the time, and this was one of those 20. From where I lived to Florida was a 16-hour car ride, and I must have heard that song, oh gosh, like every hour or two. So we listened to that song a lot. It just overall is a good one. I like it. Phenomenal by Eminem. That was like the song of my 2015 summer. I think there's a video somewhere out there of me rapping the whole thing, but just a really good Eminem song. Fix You by Coldplay. I started going to college and basically felt like I've never been away from home before, so pretty sad, kind of depressed. That song kind of cheered me up and got me through it. Summer of 2016, I took a pill in Ibiza. Honestly, that's like, when I think of that song, it just takes me right back to 2016. Kiara Gold, that is, and this song probably will not win any awards by me, but it really just takes me back to like swimming in a pool, summer of 2016. Just, it's the essence of 2016 for me. That's why it's on here. Great Love and Tell Me. Both me and my friend had a falling out. And Great Love, both of them, without getting too much into things on that part, I don't want to get into it. Basically, we had a falling out, and these songs were like, there I was awaiting death for you, and all I did was love you too. Just sort of like who do you, I don't even know. I don't want to get into it. But that got me through that. Lord Liability, I did. I felt like a liability to people. I mean, I've really mellowed out over the last couple of years, but I'm a wild person overall when you get to know me, and I did. Some people can handle me, but most can't. When I get passionate about something, I talk loud, or I talk fast, or I talk too much, and a lot of people I know don't like that kind of thing, so I resonated with that song. Stairway to Heaven, that's just, I forgot why I heard it, but that's the embodiment of like early 2017 for me. When You Were Young, summer of 2017 for me. 115, I've mentioned this before. In 2017, Black Ops 3 had Zombie Chronicles come out, and back in the day, for the original Black Ops, I don't know why, I never got the song to play. So I actually never heard it until recent. I played the game, I played Kino, I still have it on the original PlayStation 3 disc, but I never played the song, so I never heard it. And we finally did it, heard the song, and absolutely fell in love with it. Somewhere Only We Know, that's like the end of 2017 for me. Just overall really good song. It really resonates. Like, I can picture myself on like a dark, cold 2017 night listening to that song. My Way, it's just one of those, I've done life my way. I know a lot of other people don't see it that way, in the sense that, like I dropped out of college, I never got a college degree, and a lot of people see that as a failure, but in my own way, I've grown and come to find, a lot of people seem to treat me as, hey, you didn't get a college degree, you're a failure, you're a loser, you got no hopes in life. And for me, I've found ways to not feel like a loser and enjoy life, and that song sort of resonated. Is I did things my way. I know they're not the way anyone else probably would have done it, but I had an abusive ex, I had just a lot going on, and you know, I did things my way, but still to this day I'm trying to be better and enjoy life. Lovely by Billie Eilish. That song is 2018. I was working at food service at a local hospital, trying to move up in the world. That's before I listened to that song. I hope someday I'll make it out of here. I always, like, I hoped I'd get out, and I did. I grinded and got my CNA. So that's that song. Ghost of You by My Chemical Romance. Not only is it a good song overall, but again, if you've seen the prior video, I elaborated a little bit. Basically, and I've made several videos, I'm not trying to beat a dead horse here kind of thing. My relationship with my ex, I've been over this, I'm not going to go too deep, but she treated me really badly, and there was one point in time around here that I actually did try to break up with her. And again, we lived together. She was a master manipulator, so I couldn't. And even though I tried. And for whatever reason, a glimmer, I don't know what it was, but there's lyrics in here that say, at the end of the world, or the last thing I see, could I, should I, and all the things that you never ever told me. It just, some lyrics. I thought about Paige. It had been 2 years since I graduated, and it was one of those, I tried to leave my, I don't know. I'm not a cheater, and I never would. Even though she treated me horribly over those 6 years, I never cheated. She's the only girl I've ever been with. But, like, a part of me thought about it. You just take abuse day in, day out, and I thought, like, not necessarily that I was thinking about actually going. I thought about what if, sort of like that what if I did ask her out my senior year, and I never met my ex, at this point. What if my life went a totally different route? That's sort of what that song embodies for me. It's the ghost of me, the ghost of her. It's gone now, but at the time it was one of those, yeah, senior year, high school's gone, Paige is gone, but what would have been? That's sort of the embodiment of that song. Prom Queen, by Katie Turner. It was on one of Shane Dawson's Jeffree Star documentaries. Pretty much, yeah, I want to be somebody to someone, but it all is starting to blur like a dream. It's just one of those abrupt points in life. I don't know, really resonated with the lyrics. Heather by Conan Gray, that's definitely like, that takes me back to like December of 2018. Save Myself, oh god, I massively relate to the lyrics. Again, I could have saved myself time and lots of money. I could have saved myself from you. That's sort of one of my, pretty much is the breakup song when I finally did break up with my ex. I could have saved myself from wasting half my 20s. You know, I just massively relate with the song, and it came at a great point because I did leave her, and actually the song kind of was one of the things that showed me. But cut my hair, post breakup sadness, I guess, just for the good. There was some good, but you know. Looking back, I never realized like the day-to-day, yeah, the yelling, the screaming, just all of that. All I saw was, hey, you know, we sat down today and watched our favorite show. Not like that's what I look like. When you're going through it, that's what you remember. It's just, yesterday I sat back and watched my favorite show with my girlfriend. You don't remember, or you don't, well, you don't, it's weird. What actually happened is the whole time it's, oh, you looked at your phone, I'm going to scream at you for not watching the show, or, and, I don't know, it all adds up over time, but basically just, you're breathing the wrong way, I'm going to yell at you now. But you just sort of look over that. You don't pay it any mind. So, King for a Day, that was just a bop. That's 2021 for me now. And just overall just great song. Cigarette Daydreams, that's one of my all-time favorites. It sort of describes I've been broken up for a little while now, but it sort of describes my breakup with her, and I look back and the song says, cigarettes, daydreams, you were only 17. I just replaced 17 with 18 because that's when I met her, and I was just an innocent teenager who had his whole life ahead of him. And it was pretty much all taken from me by her. And I've cried to that part before. Just, you were only 18. I feel like 2020 or 2021 is when we broke up, and it was really a blur for me. But by now, this is the end of 2021. It really felt like, to me, just how much she took of just everything: time, money, my future. It really felt to me like I went from 18 to 24. And 6 years had just disappeared. They were just non-existent. And so, even now, I see people, who are I'm 25, I see people my age doing things, and I'm like, I feel like I'm 19, 20 now. I don't feel like I experienced any of that point in my life. And I don't know, that song really, just that part right there, just, you were only 18. I went from 18-year-old and just was all taken. So that song I massively relate to, and it really connects. Wasted by Juice WRLD, the Nightcore version, I think it's just a bop. After Dark by Mr. Kitty, that's another just a bop. I have memories coming home from work, or just driving around at night listening to that song. Freebird, Lynyrd Skynyrd. Again, at that point I was realizing I am finally free. Even though we've been broken up for months, it's sort of, the reality is that I am free. And just was starting to sit in, so there I'm a free bird. Prima Donna. I like the sped up version. I really bopped to that song back in like January. Why do I have it on there? I have it on here twice. I'll just go ahead and remove it. The sped up version, or Nightcore, whatever you want to call it. Space Song by Beach House. Strictly for the Line. It was late at night, you held on tight, which the night we broke up, she did. And then just for me, it'll take a while to make you smile. No, just another sad song, I guess. Here we have Five Nights at Freddy's, The Living Tombstone. I like I played the games back when they first came out in 2014, but sort of realizing where I'm at in life at the time, and just the song says, I'm stuck in my own paradox, I want to set myself free. I really did. I felt stuck, and like I said, at that point I'm pretty much a 19-year-old living in I felt like an 18-year-old living in a 25-year-old's life, and I didn't know what I was doing, what to do, and it just crazy times for me. Honestly, crazy times. I mean, I think I've mentioned before, but basically, like, I saw the entirety of Grey's Anatomy twice with her, strictly because she didn't want me going out, she didn't want me doing anything, she had to have control over me. So, like, we watched the entirety of Grey's Anatomy up until whatever point it was at, stopped it, watched another show, and then watched Grey's Anatomy again. Like, that's how much of my life was just wasted, and just so she could have control over me. So I felt stuck, and that song really resonated with me. I Don't Love You by My Chemical Romance. I don't love you like I did yesterday. Just another breakup song, and again, sort of me moving on. Foo Fighters, Everlong. By itself, it's a great song. Basically, this was one of those songs that and again, a lot of these songs are very personal to me, so I apologize, but basically the first half of the song is just, hello, I've waited here for you ever long. Like, a part of me, I'm just opening myself up way too much right now. Basically, a part of me would love nothing more than I've never spoke these words out loud before, but like Paige, and there's been a few other girls over my life that I've talked to but never went anywhere with, but mainly Paige. I envision myself singing the song with her, or heck, even someone I've known, but I don't know, just someone. I've waited here my whole life for happiness, for happiness, and just I've waited for you, and I envision myself still, even now, even this was like summer, but even now I just envision myself singing that song with her, with whoever, honestly. It could even be someone I've never met before. I've waited here my whole life for someone that will actually care. So that's that song. Cough Syrup. I'm waiting for this cough syrup to come down. A little summertime depression. Just, again, she sort of ran my bank accounts dry. Actually negative, left me with a lot of credit card debt, and it's one of those, I wish I could just wake up back as an 18-year-old and not go down that path with her, but I can't. over the summer, but like I'd listen to that song. I thought all my problems would be solved by the that $1 billion lottery at the time. So I thought all my problems could just be solved. Hey, it would all be worth it. You know, yes, it sucked. I know what I'm looking for now in a person. Here's $1 billion, and I feel like that would have made it all worth it. Obviously, that never came for me, but that's just sort of where I was. Another breakup song kind of thing. So long, nice to know you, I'll be moving on. Just really good song. Drugging Me As You. Don't really connect with the lyrics, just good song. Bulletproof Love, oh my gosh. My love for you was bulletproof, but you're the one who shot me. Really connected with that one. That's self-explanatory, I don't have to go over that one. Mars Argo, Using You. I mentioned, I really like the song. I heard it a long time ago when it first came out, and that was one of those songs like I listened to way back then, but never knew the name of it, and I just recently heard it again, and I'm like, oh, like I actually put two and two together, so I just like it as a good song. We Fell in Love in October, just a bop. Yacht Club. No, they were just one of those sad, like, breakup-y kind of songs, but it starts off with, it's not like you ever tried. And, you know, really connected with that one. I'm Low on Gas and You Need a Jacket. Just another one of those moving on kind of songs, and overall it's a really good song by itself. And then I have a bonus that has not been on any list yet. If You Can't Hang by Sleeping with Sirens. Literally just discovered this song, and absolute bop. But you turned into a pretty big waste of my time, you know. You can see where I'm at. But so that's the list. These are all songs that I have put on replay. I've listened to my entire life over and over again, and even now I could honestly start at Good Charlotte and go down 70 songs, since I had a duplicate, and I could listen to all these, and I could bop to all of them. Like, these are my like absolute all-time favorites. So what I'm gonna do to try to thin this down is I'm gonna go through and so I'm gonna just try to thin this out as much as possible. I'm actually gonna start with Good Charlotte, strictly because that was like I said, that was like an elementary school, middle school song for me. It just, today it doesn't hold, like, I love it, it's a good song, but it doesn't hold up compared to other songs, so we are going to remove that from the list. Those are all classics for me. I'm just gonna kind of go through. I got a lot of Eminem on here, so I'm gonna remove Spacebound. Royals by Lorde. Yes, it takes me back to 2013, but it's just, nah. I love it. That's just another one. Like, I don't really connect with it. It's a good song, but same with Eyes Without a Face. It's a good song, but I think I have enough opera-y. Another one, I really like that song, but just overall compared to the other songs. Same with Dido. Fix It, yeah. I'm just trying to thin this list out, like, Stairway to Heaven, When You Were Young, Lovely I could deal without. Just trying to. I can deal without that one. Cough syrup, eh? No, I could deal without those. Using you, I could deal without, honestly. And then I listened to this the other night. If You Can't Hang, I listened to that on replay for probably a good 3-4 hours. That was like 4 hours. Which is how I know a song's gonna end up on my favorites list, is when I can listen to it that many times and not get sick of it. But I was just introduced to the song, so I definitely can't put this on like my all-time favorites yet. Maybe another day. What is that? That brings me down to 50. Okay. Alright, so the winner, I guess the only classical song I have on here, which would be the winner of my classical category, would be Pavane for a Dead Princess. But overall top 10, no, I'd pass. The same thing, I think this is the only dubstep song I have on here, so not another UKF tutorial. That wins my dubstep award. But no. I hate to do this. Bring Me to Life, I really like that song, but again, we're talking like current me, what I currently think. There's a time in like 2010 where I would have said that's my all-time favorite, possibly, but just current me, I know I don't go back to that song very often. Man, I don't want to miss a thing again. I never, yeah. Just the Girl. That's, oh man, that's so good. But no, compared to what I have on this list, Gold again takes me back, but I took a pill in Ibiza. Takes me back to 2016. Better. I could deal without Great Love. It's a good song. Liability. And Prom Queen. I could deal without that one. I'm trying to go with like the most impactful, the most Freebird. Man, I really like Freebird though. I could deal without that. But I guess I really got to crank this list down. What does that put me at? 39. Alright, so we've gotten it down to 39. I'm trying to, so, like, in my mind, I'm trying to go with, if I could only listen to 10 songs for the rest of my life, the most impactful, the most we're sort of making this up as we go along here, but like, yeah, the most 10 songs that I like, most impactful for me, and good music. And I hate to say it, I think Down with the Sickness is gotta go. Really, really good song, but I just overall compared to some of the other ones on this list. And same with Animal by Neon Trees. They were really good songs back then, but I just don't know how well they hold up now. Same with Above the Law. That's man. Wasted. Actually, that might win the award. That might be one of my favorite dubstep songs, but the only reason I'm removing this song is, again, I don't, like, as a song I really like it, but there's no, like, connection to it, so, if you stuck around to this long, you'll notice that some songs I've talked a lot about, and you can tell those songs are definitely contenders, and other songs I've sort of been like, eh. My Way by Frank Sinatra. Somewhere Only We Know, that's a good one, but no. That's a Capilla and Ibiza. That's just, it's another one I don't really like connect with. Kind of tough. Honestly, for me, if I'm trying to like compare it, like Blank Space and Middle of Starting Over both take me back to 2014. If I had to pick, I'm gonna go with Stricken, honestly. So this is a really tough one. What am I down to? 27? Man, can I do it top? Okay, well, I'm really gonna have to get critical here. Falling for You, really like it, but no. Same thing with Potential Breakup Song. What is that, top? We got top 25? I did do that. Bullet. I like I'm Low on Gas better. Well, Style. I like that song, but yeah, not really. Like compared to what I have on this list. That's a tough one. Can I get to top 10? Alright, Don't Stop Believin', I think's gonna go, just compared to what I'm competing with. And same with Till I Collapse. Lose Yourself's already on here. Man. Sweater Weather's like the epitome of 2013 for me, but these songs all like really mean a lot to me. Man, I really hate to do that one, but After Dark I think's better. Man, this is... Maybe I'll do like a slideshow for the top 10. I hate to do that. Enter Sandman. I really hate to do that one. I'm not gonna lie. But just what I have on this list. Man, this is crazy. I really hate to do that, but that's such a good song, though. Oh, man. I'm gonna have to... I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna have to. I'm trying to get to top 10. Oh, man. I hate to do that. Chasing Cars is such a good song, and that's another one where, like, Would You Lie With Me and Just Forget the World? Like, I imagined that with... Oh, man. Yeah, I have to do that. Oh, man. What am I down to? Top 15? I did do top 15. But this is crazy. Alright, I love Stricken. Oh, man. I'm gonna have to do blanks. This hurts. This hurts trying to do this. I'm trying to think. When I think of 2015, I'm trying to think if you know you like it or Phenomenal. I'm trying to remember which one. Like, and I think they were both pretty much played back to back. Like they were both right next to each other on my playlist. Phenomenal is just such a good. Oh, I'm gonna have to. Oh, that hurts. That really hurts me. What am I? Was that 13? Okay, I'm gonna do that one. My Chemical. It's such a good song, but what is that? Top 12. I'm gonna have to get rid of Everlong. Oh, this one's hard. Like this list you're looking at here, I've probably listened to a lot. I'm gonna do Stricken by Disturbed. It's a really good song. But all right. So there we have top 10 of all time. Can I go top 5? Oh man, no, I don't. Okay, I'm gonna go top 5. Hold on. Oh, this is crazy. This is actually crazy. I don't know why this is so crazy, but After Dark. Oh, these hurt. I love that song, but Ghost. Oh, what did I just do? How did that happen? I don't know. I'm gonna have to get rid of Ghost of You. Another really good song, and a lot of memories with it, but was this 8? Oh man. Oh man. Alright, so I'm going to get rid of this one. I really, really like that song, but I'm going all time here. It's just I haven't had enough time with it compared to some of these other songs. So, what is this, top 7 now? Oh man, this is nuts. These are all like such different points in my life. Oh man. If you've stuck around this long, thank you. I don't know if I can. No, because that's all. Oh man. Okay, so here's where we're at. If you're still here, Lose Yourself. That's like, I love Eminem, and that song's like the epitome of my middle and high school like Eminem phase. And even now I can still bop to it. Phantom of the Opera, huge for me. The ending has monumental impact on my life. And I still get teary-eyed when I hear him say, you alone can make my song take flight. Like, you like it. That's like the pinnacle. I just graduated high school, 2015. I can still imagine, I could still imagine having a long day hanging out with my girlfriend or my best friend, and it's like 1 a.m. I'm heading back home after like a fantastic fun day, and that's the song that's there. That's the song that takes me back. Yeah, man, that song like I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Oh, again, like that song like really pin up like me and my friend had a falling out. December of or I guess winter of 2016. Like that song takes me back to that. what are we, top 6? 115. Oh man, I'm gonna do 115. Yeah, it's a really good song, but I guess I don't have as much connection to it. Alright, so this is a list I never thought I would see in my entire life. And I'm actually going to, while I'm here, I'm going to hopefully not mess up the video by screenshotting. I never thought I'd see a list like this, and this is absolutely crazy to me. So, top 5 songs ever. Oh my gosh. Can I go further than this? I don't know if I could go further than this. This is tough. I'm debating. The problem is, again, we have different genres. I have an opera song, I have rap, I have like a, I guess it's kind of dubsteppy, I don't know. So I got a lot of different genres, I got a lot of different points in my life. I have the epitome of middle school, like early high school. I have like, oh my god, like, yeah, Down Once More is like the epitome of like my inner love coming out. And still to this day, if someone sang Down Once More, like if I had a woman come into my life and they sang Down Once More with me, like in person, I'm not a good singer, but, and you don't have to be, or she wouldn't have to be either, but if somebody did that, I'd put a ring on their finger immediately. Like, you don't know how much that song means to me. Again, 2015, I know you like it, like, that is just, the first 3 months, again, I met my ex in like May, and we started dating like June, July, we started dating at the very end of May, but June, July, August was sort of like that honeymoon phase. Our true colors weren't out yet. It was 3 really good months, actually. And so 2015 summer was probably some of the highlight of my entire life, in the sense that I'd wake up, and every single day of like that 90 days was, I'd go over to her house, hang out with her. I'd go over to my best friend's house and hang out with him. We just have these crazy wild adventures. Sometimes they would actually, me and her would go over to his house, and it was just non-stop fun that summer. It was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. It was so good that I actually made a diary. I know that's kind of weird, but I'm a sentimental person, as you can see at this point, if you're still here. I actually made a diary that I still keep to this day, because I wanted to capture the essence of everything. Every single day was perfect, and that song is the pinnacle of that. Save Myself, again, that's the song that finally broke through to me. I heard it like, I want to say I heard it like a couple months or so before we broke up, but that's the song that sort of, yeah, I could have saved myself time, money from wasting my 20s. She starts off the song, goddamn hindsight 2020, poured rain all over my sunny, someday this will all be funny. Like, oh, I can almost relate word for word. She had to have gone through something similar to me. It's like me finally breaking free and breaking up with my ex. That song is like it. And then Cigarette Daydreams, not only is it a really good song, but it's just, it encapsulates just those last moments of us being together. And again, like I said, like, how much was taken from me at 18. I just, I don't know, just, I really resonate with that song. So these are all very different genres, different points in my life. I'm really surprised I even narrowed it down to top 5, but I did. And can I go further than this? I can. It absolutely hurts, but I can get rid of Cigarette Daydreams. I can't. Again, that was like post breakup. I mean, compared to what I'm dealing with, it is definitely top 5. But compared to what I'm dealing with on this list, the caliber of these songs in my life, it doesn't hold up to the other ones. I've gotten it down to top 4. Oh man, I'm torturing myself going further than this. Okay, if I go, so they're all very sentimental songs to me. If I go purely off of, so obviously they will hold a lot of sentimental weight. If I go off of actual song at this point, I'm just trying to find any reason to take something off this list. Save Myself. Again, I'm going my whole life. That song is monumental to me. That song is massive to me. But compared to what you're dealing with on this list, so this is top 3. And I truly don't know if I can go further than this. So my options are, you're just gonna get raw, uncut sounds here. If you're still watching, I absolutely appreciate you. I don't think many people do. And especially when I'm at a very vulnerable, open point right now. You genuinely mean a lot to me. So I want to say thank you. Top 3. It's criminal if I go further than this. But I think I can. Oh man. Okay, well, I'm actually. So here's the thing. Middle school me. Oh my! I loved Eminem, and I was so. I think Recovery just came out, and like that's all the Eminem I had. And I loved him so much, and like all his content, that I had to. I think he calls them stands, but I had to actually go back and find like his underground songs, like songs that he, at the time this was like 2010, so I'd be like, oh, songs, 10 years ago that he featured on, just so I could hear more of his work. I loved him. Like I said, I looked up songs that you wouldn't even know existed. And just so I could hear more of his content. However, and I like 2013, he had Marshall Mathers LP2. and even I think Revival was pretty good. It is the culmination of my like middle school. So I think again we're going off of, and most of his current songs I'm not a fan of. There's a few I do like, but again, if we're going back to like Recovery, or like almost all his albums, I've liked every song on there. Like it's an absolute bop for me. And he's, like I said, he's a massive I like icon in my life. So if you asked me in middle school what my all-time favorite song is, I probably would have said Lose Yourself, and I probably would actually be correct. Today, I don't think it holds. I've heard it so much. I think I'm gonna have to get rid of Lose Yourself. I know that sounds crazy, but like I said, I'm just trying to find any sliver of excuse. Honestly, the top 5 that's a very appropriate list. At this point, I'm torturing myself trying to eliminate songs. So here we are. We are down to the wire on the last 2. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna try here. So we have like I said, so we have the Down Once More. It's the end of Phantom of the Opera. Little Me, and even now I can still connect with just life. Any girl I've had a crush on, or like they pick up and leave. Like I connect with the Phantom deeply, and if somebody knew this, it's a side of me I've never shown anyone. Just like how much I like the Phantom of the Opera and how much I connect with it. Like if somebody sat down and sang All I Ask of You with me, like you'd connect with me so deeply. I mean, Phantom of the Opera, like I said, I discovered it in like 8th grade. I listened to it all throughout high school, and even now, like, it brings a tear to my eye. I used to listen to like all the different Phantoms renditions of it. So I mean, it's just an absolutely massive point in my life. But at the same time, like I said, honestly, the summer of 2015, I just graduated high school. Like I said, it was near perfect. I think there was like a literal handful, like 4 or 5 days that summer where I was like, I've been going so hard, I need to just like do nothing for that day. But like I said, every day was girlfriend, best friend, going and taking on the world. I mean, life's been downhill ever since. That was the sheer perfect summer. And I've never had a perfect anything since then. That really is like the peak of my life. And that's, like I said, that song, after just after a really good day of hanging out with your bro or your girlfriend, and I'm heading home. I took the same route home every time. Doesn't matter whose house I went to. They were actually both kind of close to each other. I took the same route home. I can still picture myself 1 in the morning, no cars on the back roads, listening to that song. I know you like it. Like both are just such titans I'm trying so hard here. This is why I don't try to narrow food or songs or video games. That's why I don't try to do it. Just because, again, you're comparing apples to oranges, or not even. You're at this point you're comparing apples with a car. I mean, there's nothing to compare. Oh man. I'm gonna. Oh, I think I got it. I got it. I got it. I'm gonna. That's it. I'm gonna do it. That's it. Man, what? Wow, there's torture. That was absolute torture. I'm gonna do that strictly because, like, 2015 was like the peak of my life. I think this song, "Down Once More," represents not only where I was when I was in middle school, high school. I think even now I can connect, and even now I can be the Phantom. Even now I can sit there and sing, "You alone can make my song take flight." It gives me such hope to find someone new, and maybe even someone who knows the songs to sing them with me. But just not only know this action, like when I say that, like, know the song itself, but at the same time you could interchange song with me. Like, you get to know me and you can experience life with me. I connect with the Phantom so deeply, and I think the song not only is a culmination of where I've been, but where I'm going, and it gives me hope for the future. So I think if I had to pick it encompasses pretty much all my life, even now, this song does, and it's good. I mean, I could listen to it anytime. So that was absolute torture. Nobody ask me to do that again, please. Realistically, the top 5 and even like the top 10 are like, top 5 was like my absolute juggernaut songs. But if I had to narrow it all down, like I said, a culmination of where I've been and where I'm going is my entire life, even past where I currently am, is in that song. So mainly the ending of it, but masquerade, paper faces on parade, masquerade, hide your face so the world will never find you. Oh my gosh, like, after Christine kisses the Phantom, like, from that point to the end, I connect with it so much. Okay, so I got really sappy and really emotional and opened up a lot, so I hope you enjoy. This is where we're at. The very end of Phantom of the Opera, the Down Once More. That's probably my all-time favorite song. It's, like I said, a culmination of where I've been, where I'm going, into the future. I think that is it. So, I really hope you enjoy this. If you have any video ideas, let me know. If you want to pick my brain, want to talk, anything, you just leave it in the comments. I respond to pretty much everything I get. And I don't know if I could torture myself like that again. Ooh-wee. But I greatly appreciate you watching. If you did stick around to the end, thank you so much, honestly. And I guess I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.